America.
Wish I had that in my background.
Okay. So, couple of things. So this video is going to be posted on voiceofthedriver.com.
Okay.
And that is a project that I'm putting together to give the drivers of this country a voice, right? Because y'all deserve a voice. And also, this is kind of a cool experience for me because, I love truckers. And I think you and I both know why. We'll get into in a minute. But it's
Yes, sir.
it's day one of the first week. It's day one of Trucker Appreciation Week.
There we go.
So, first things first, Bobby, thank you, man, for keeping this country moving. Truckers got a special place in my heart. And, I don't know if everybody knows, but my daddy and my granddaddy were both truck drivers. So, it's one of those things that you kind of latch onto and it fills your cup.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's start with, let's talk about you. So how about you state your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Bobby Ray Powell Jr. I'm truck driver family also. I've even got a sister that drove trucks. It's just in the blood. I'm from North Carolina, Clinton, North Carolina. Uh, that's about it, man. I've been driving 28 years and probably have to drive another 10 more, but I mean, I love it.
Well, let me ask you, well, I'm also from Clinton, North Carolina. Let's just go on and put that out there. Me and Bobby went to school together, our whole elementary school, middle school, high school. And I remember Bobby's daddy drove a Peterbilt 352. During that time, my daddy was driving a Kenworth K100. I remember talking about that whenever we were growing up. But Bobby, let me ask you, what's your favorite truck you've ever driven?
That would have to be a 2000 model 379 Peterbilt. It had a 600 cat in it. It was it would ride. I love that truck.
Nice. Old cats, man, they got a very specific sound. They have a loud Jake.
It did. It had 8-inch smokestacks on it. I only drove that truck once, but
Yeah.
I drove it from Maryland back to North Carolina, and it was amazing. I loved it. Peterbilt makes a fine truck.
Yeah, it does, man. Them 389s have become the go-to show truck that you see on the circuit with the big old 7-8 inch stacks.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, why did you decide to get into trucking? Now, I think we both know the answer to that, but let you answer.
Childhood dream. I used to love coming home from school and seeing my dad's trucks in the yard, and I'd run in the house and get him. We'd go outside and sit in the truck for a while and blow the horn, and it was just, I loved it. And I had the chance to go with him a few times, me and my mom both, and just being able to drive the truck and sleep on the truck, it seemed like fun to me.
Man,
It does keep you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I want it awesome to be able to sit up on the doghouse and feel the motor under it,
On
and
that
being
cab
able to
over truck.
be able to touch, flip the Jake brake switch and wait for him to take his foot off the gas.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times. I love those cab overs too, but they really don't make many cab overs anymore that I know of. It's all like a conventional style truck now, and I love going into truck stops now and seeing some of the old trucks people have kept on the road.
Yeah.
But all of your fleet trucks now, man, they go for aerodynamics and fuel economy, and and I mean the living quarters in them are fairly nice. You can see inside this one. We've got a microwave here, got a refrigerator down here. It's hid in the behind the cabinet, but and on this side we've got another cabinet with towels, and we keep our sleep gear and everything in there.
Now, what you right now? You're a team driver, so your team's your team driver's driving right now. What kind of truck are you in?
I'm in a 2021 Volvo.
It's a VN4.
It's a really nice truck. It's a condo. Let me look real quick. Hey, what's the number on this truck, man? What's the number on the door? What's the kind of truck this is? A Volvo what? Number on the truck? 680. 680, I think, Chris.
Oh, nice. Nice.
This big condo. It's got plenty of room in it. I'm standing up right now.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, the government, they basically loosened up the restrictions on total length. And so the industry went towards driver comfort, which is good, of course, which is how we ended up where we are today with all these conventionals on the road. Let me ask you, what was your favorite thing that you like to haul? Now, right now, let's talk about right now. So now you drive for Prestige Farms, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're back and forth to Iowa, right?
Iowa to North Carolina. Well, we load in North Carolina, haul to Iowa, and then we did head back to North Carolina.
And what are you hauling?
Baby wing pigs.
You hear that, people? If you like bacon and ham, this is the man that makes it happen right here.
I don't know, man. I'm just a delivery boy.
My daddy used to run that lane because daddy drove for Prestige for, man, every bit of 30 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and he used to run that Iowa lane every now and then. They would rotate in and out. So daddy used to do exactly what you're doing now, but he won't doing it in an old stand-up Volvo with a condominium on the back of it. He was probably doing it in like a FLD or something or other.
Yeah, that's quite possible. The old FLDs were good trucks too. Now,
yeah, man, workhorses. Freightliner's always cranked out workhorses. I'm more of a Kenworth guy myself. Kenworth cab over BJ and the Bear style, but them freight shakers, man, they're mainstream. Well, let me ask you, what is your favorite thing that you like about trucking?
I guess it's just a lifestyle. It's the being able to brag. I drove from such and such to such and such today. The traffic was perfect. Sometimes traffic's not perfect and it'll cost you miles. But if you do have a really good day, you can put down at 70 miles an hour. If you're on the interstate all day, you can run 700 miles in 10 hours if you stay at 70 miles an hour. So, and you tell people, yeah, I drove 700 miles a day, they're like, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to do that. But, we do it every day. So
that's 7 trips to Wilmington right there.
Every bit of it. And then, your brotherhood at the truck stops, you go in, speak to drivers in there, and it really is somewhat of a brotherhood. It's nice to go in and meet fellow drivers that are out here living the same life.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's the craziest thing that you've seen out there, man? Oh, we lost you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's the craziest thing you've seen out there?
I've seen some really close near misses on the highway. People not paying attention, and they end up on top of somebody before they know it. You see a lot of folks riding along and using their cell phones while they're driving, and you need a hands-free device while you're driving. It's the law for us out here, but a lot of times with your little, we call them four-wheelers, with your cars, they'll have it in their hand and be looking through it, and that's dangerous for everybody out here.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the craziest thing you've seen when you've looked down into a car? Do you prefer not to answer that one?
I'll let the laugh tell the story.
That's almost rhetorical there. Oh man. What's the scariest experience you've been in? Like, I know that you've seen near misses and stuff out on the road, but what's the scariest situation you've been in whenever you were on the highway? And what's the scariest situation you've been in when you were off the highway?
On the highway, I had a truck years ago. It was a really old truck. I was running through the mountains of West Virginia, and a vehicle in front of me lost their tire. I saw the tire start bouncing down the highway, and all of a sudden, everybody were on their brakes, and when I hit my brakes, it slowed me down a little bit, but then it sped right back up. The truck immediately lost brakes, and I laid on the horn, and everybody saw what was happening. And they started moving over for me, and I cut right down the middle of traffic, and that was coming out of the Big Walker Tunnel. And like as you come out of it, it's a long downgrade coming out of it. It's one of the tunnels. I can't remember which one the long downgrade's on, but that one scared me that day. I thought I was gonna run off the end of the mountain.
So what
Uh,
ended up happening? Did you, I mean, obviously you're still here, so you survived, but would you just jake it all the way down?
and I'd already burnt my brakes, so I just kind of held it at the bottom and made the turn, and luckily it stayed on all the wheels.
Wow.
That was a hairy situation that day. That scared me more than anything probably ever has.
I bet so, man. I mean, you see those runaway truck ramps all the time, and I've always wondered, like, I don't want to, like, I've always wondered what it looks like, but at the same time, I've always thought, man, I'd be scared to death if that happened, you know? So what's the
Okay.
scariest thing that's ever happened when you were on the road, but not on the highway?
Uh, was almost robbed one morning at a store. Went inside and got breakfast, come back out, and the guy met me at my truck, asked me could I break $100 bill, and yeah, I started counting out 20s, and I noticed he wasn't presenting $100 bill anywhere, so I quickly put my back in my pocket. I said, "Man, don't try to rob me this morning." And he was like, he said, "I apologize, sir." He said, "I was gonna try to grab your money and run." He said, "But," he said, "I got a wife and a child at the house, and I don't have money to feed them." So I took him into the store and bought him a loaf of bread, a pack of eggs, milk. I bought him everything that he needed, to cook breakfast that morning, pack of bacon and all. And I told him I gave him $20 on top of that. I said, "Look, man, it's better to be real than to try to rob people."
Man, you a good man, Bobby Powell. That's
Thank you. Appreciate it.
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean I've never lived your life, but I know it's not safe on the road and off the road.
True.
That's for sure. Well, let me ask you this last question. What do you think that the fleets could do to make things better on the road for you drivers?
Uh, it's hard to say because, I mean, I can only be speaking for myself. Um, I really don't know. I mean, I'd have to say to each his own on that. It's what might be better for me is not better for someone else, but if the fleets would provide, better service as far as communications goes, it's a really big thing. Um, so many times we get out here and we're trying to talk with people and cell phones stop working, and you know better communication, I would say, is probably the best thing.
Got it. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, we're going to ask that question to every driver we talk to, and it's interesting to see what kind of responses that we're going to get. But that's a good one, man.
That's we've been broken down on the side of the road before, and I'll call down the chain of command, and once if the tractor breaks down, we have to call Transource for that to get it fixed. If the trailer breaks down, we have to call Prestige. So it would honestly be nice to be able to just call one group of people and have the Wi-Fi on the truck that you need for your phone call to go through. If we were in Kentucky on the Kentucky 9, there is no service on Kentucky 9. So if you break down out there, there's no telling how long it'll take to get somebody to you to fix your truck.
Nice. Well, Bobby, I appreciate this time, man. And I'm glad we've reconnected over the last couple of weeks. And,
Definitely.
you know, I meant one of the first things I said to you, and I'll just kind of close with this, man. Thank you for keeping the country moving. You know, you say you're just a delivery boy. You're a lot more than that, man. You've been driving 28 years, man. You have impacted so many lives with the freight you've hauled all over the years. Right now, you're making sure people get bacon. You know, everybody loves some bacon, or at least most of us love some bacon. You know, all the different things that you've hauled all over the years, man, has just made a big impact, you know, and that's the same for
Yes, sir.
all the drivers out there, man. You know, everybody's got a story and everybody impacts the economy in a different way. Right now, you're impacting the economy with some ham sandwiches and some bacon.
Well, Chris, I appreciate what you do for us too, man. Your job's important also.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Listen,
Very
you be
much
safe
so.
out there, and thank you for your time, brother. Take care.
Thank you, Chris.
See you, man. Bye-bye.